You might be wondering what am I doing? Well, to answer to that, I'd suggest you continue watching this video, and I will explain why it's so important to warm up before starting your sketching or drawing sessions. I need to add some weight. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, so why do we warm up? How do we warm up? And how can it help us to perform better? Well, let me explain. Let's start with why should we warm up? First of all, when we wake up, we are rested. We are not gonna perform at our best, okay? And that somehow in the universe that we live in will end up us being frustrated because the first couple sketches we do won't be great. They will kind of look bad for us and we might get frustrated. Let's be honest, you were there and you got frustrated. As I said many times already, by warming up, you release the tension in your wrists and shoulders and like whole hand muscles, and you get the so-called engine going. For example, if you know someone who has a car, or if you have a car yourself, in cold winter days, after cold winter nights, before you drive somewhere, you tend, or you heard someone saying that they tend to start their car's engines and keep them rolling for like, I don't know, 3-5 minutes, maybe even more depending how cold it is, before driving somewhere, to warm up their car so they can actually normally drive somewhere. So that's basically the same thing with our hands. We need to get the engine going so we can perform much better and not get frustrated. So simply said, by warming up, you save energy in the long run, time in the long run, and your emotions for not being frustrated. It's so simple. Also, another reason why you should warm up, because you are free from being obsessed about the quality. Because when you warm up, you don't have to care about the quality. It's so simple. You don't need to care about how well did you draw that cube or that circle or something, because you are just warming up. Every day, every morning when you wake up, do those warm-ups. Don't pay attention to the quality. I said everything in wrong way. Don't pay attention to quality. You don't have to care about that. Just get your hand going, free your mind, and don't be obsessed about how well is that pyramid gonna end up. That comes later. That comes way later when you just actually work on the project you want to work on. Okay, we said why we should warm up. Now let's talk about how can it help us. First reason, and I think it's the most important reason, is that it helps us to tackle those boring exercises we tend not to do and not like. And I know, I've been there, I am still there. I hate doing those boring exercises of just circle, cube, triangle, pyramid, the lines, just basic lines, this way, that way, up, down, from the back, from the front. Yeah, I know, it's really boring and I hate to do those, but if you warm up doing those exercises, that's like two birds with one stone. So basically, when you warm up doing those exercises, you sharpen the skills of good line work or good shape work or shape design, and you don't really pay too much attention of how well they will end up, because I mean, come on, those lines, yeah, you want them good, but the more you do those, the better you will get, and you warm up with those. How cool is that? It's like going, if you play basketball, I personally don't like basketball that much, I don't even play it, but it's gonna be a good example. Imagine going to the stadium or whatever it's called and just doing those 3-pointers. again and again and again for like half an hour, only 3 pointers. It's boring. You rather play the game actual, right? Because it's more engaging, exciting than just standing there, throw, take, throw. But you also both warm up doing those and sharpen your 3 pointers, because doing 3 pointers, as I've heard, is cool and it's better than 2 pointers, right? Right. Okay, now to show you something, I did not warm up today at all. I have not sketched yet in my sketchbook, even though I was so tempted. As soon as I woke up and had my breakfast, I was like, oh, I wanna, and it is really addictive when you do that kind of stuff, like warming up every single day. And I tend to do those. I wake up like 3 hours early before going to the work, and the 2 hours from there I just spend warming up. So yeah, it's kind of addictive, a lot addictive. So now what I want to do is show you how helpful it actually is, because I can talk a lot about do the warm-ups because you're gonna but I think showing you how helpful it is will be much better. So I'm gonna draw a gesture, a pose, simple pose. I have it like, I'm gonna have it on the screen. I'm gonna draw that gesture, that pose, without warming up. Then I'm gonna show you the tricks, the ways, examples, how you can warm up every single day before you start your sessions. And then I'm gonna redraw this pose again and compare the not warmed up version with a warmed up version and see how much of a difference will we get. So let's hop into the sketching one. I'm gonna spend like 1-2 minutes sketching this pose right now, and let's talk about what exercise we should do after. So be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so real quick, real simple, nothing too much. It's a gesture, and I hate it. I hate it because there's so much wrong style-wise that I don't like, and that's okay because it's the first drawing I did, first sketch I did today. So let's leave it be here because we're gonna sketch her one more time later. Now, let's talk about what kind of exercises should we do to warm up. Okay, first exercise I encourage you to do is, depending where you're doing this, digitally or traditionally, you can go different ways, but I suggest you use at least A4 size. If you're using small paper, if you're using small sketchbook, do at least 2 pages per this exercise. If you're using as big as I use, as big paper as I use, then 1 page, one sheet, both sides of the page, is gonna be enough. If you're using smaller, try to go a bit more than just one sheet. Okay, what do you do? First, I tend to put my paper horizontally, but you can do that vertically as well, it doesn't really matter. But for this sake, let's say this is our paper. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm already failing at the straight lines. Nice. Let's zoom in. Okay, this is my paper size right now. Divide it in 3 different columns. It may be equal, it may not be equal. It's your decision, it doesn't really matter. I tend to not make those equally. And now I have 3 columns. Let's call them 1, B, C, 4. A, B, C, D. Okay, what do you do first? You take like first third of a column, let's do it in thirds, and you start to put down lines from A line to B line, like this. Zoop, 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 zoop. And you try to pay attention to make those lines as straight as possible and the distance between those lines to be as same as possible. Don't get too stressed about it because it will take time to get used to it. and again, it's a warm up, but try to focus just a bit to make those as evenly spaced out as possible. After filling the whole third of AB with just after filling the whole third of this column with from A to B, move to A to C and do the same thing. Lines, lines, straight as possible, equal spaced as possible. Try to do that as well as you can, but don't stress out too much. After finishing from A to C, doing this, and move from A to D, and it's gonna get a bit more hard, a bit more challenging to keep the lines as straight as possible. Right now you can see I'm failing so hard, but it's okay. It's still doable. It's not a problem. It's a warm-up. Second exercise you can do is using shapes and forms. So what I mean by that, you can just go and fill the whole page, the bigger page is better, with just circle, 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 circle. And what you have to pay your biggest attention to is the distance between the circles, the size of the circles to be as even as possible, as same as possible, and to keep those in the two straight lines as well as possible. What can help you is just put down two spaced out lines and try to fill them with circles, but don't go too much, like don't do this, try not to touch paper or your tablet for like couple spins, and as soon as you feel like it, boom, not touching the screen right now, I feel it, boom, not touching, I just prepare myself and boom. Don't go and just darken. No, don't do this. Try to keep it in one line, 2 lines at max. Don't go more than 2 lines. It will get you better with being more precise with your lines, and it will make you be more committed to your lines. Also, what else you can do is just, you have a paper, just fill it with this circle. Just don't pay attention, just warm your wrist up, warm your hand up, fill the whole page with not circles, triangles and rectangles and just forms, and try to challenge yourself with something. For example, keeping the rectangle as rectangular as possible, or keeping triangle to have equal sides. Also, what else you can do is practice your cubes, because cubes are the most essential thing you can learn, because everything is a cube. And try shading. Practice your shading with this exercise, with the exercise A. What I mean by that, line, 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 equally spaced, as straight as possible. Do those. Again, cube, bam, 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 bam. Now, lines to shade, lines to shade. No space, probably no space, as straight as possible. Now, make those even darker. Practice your line weight as well. Now here, do some spacing up. Practice those. You want to do cylinder? Sure. Let's do circles, oval, circle, ellipse, and now wablam. And here as well. Shup, 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 shup. See, I did a bit bad work here, but still continue. Shup, 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 shup. See how you can combine 2 different exercises into one, and also add third sprinkle on it, that is warming up. Simple and useful. Okay, now that I said those really helpful exercises, what I'm gonna do, and I encourage you to do the same thing, if you haven't warmed up yet, I'm gonna spend next 30 minutes on doing those practices, just those practices, circles, lines, forms, and in like 30 minutes, I'm gonna come back, jump, and try to do this same figure again and compare how much improvement does warming up actually do. So let's start the time lapse now. Okay, now that we are done warming up, I spent like about 38 minutes warming up. I tend to do more, like at least an hour or so. Now that we are well warmed up, let's see how much can we improve this gesture right here from the last one. And did that warm up actually help, or was I just lying whole video here? Well, let's quickly check it out. I will say that yeah, warming up did help me a bit to improve the gesture. More wedging done, more like tricking with the form that I love to do. Much more confidence, especially on the legs, especially on the pelvis side. A bit more confident with the head. Overall, I say yes. I did much better shapes with the gesture that I'm proud of. So yeah, also line work much better if you ask me. So yeah, as I said, warming up does help. Do warm-ups, do those warm-up exercises I told you, do some other, maybe like come up with your own. Maybe one of the exercises I forgot to mention is observation exercises, warm-ups, if you kind of want to call those up. Draw whatever you see in your room. Maybe even, draw your hand. Use your hand to draw. It's a really good practice of hands, and as I said, good exercise to warm up. For like past 2 weeks, I've been doing like, this is the sketchbook I filled, and hands, 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 hands. Some bodies, but still hands, hands, hands. Those were like those 2-hour morning warm-up sessions that I did before like starting to work. So, as I said, do warm-ups. They help. They will make you better. They will make you feel better. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're gonna do those. Hope you're gonna use those tips I give you. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. It helps. And I'm gonna probably see you in the next video, which will be next Wednesday, as usual. So, also sorry for not uploading past week because I was not feeling well, but it's okay because it's already a new week, new video. Next week gonna be next video, new video with the next. Bye.